Verbal Riot.
Here we are, y'all. Today is the day Ironheart finally drops on Disney Plus. I know you guys have been waiting with bated breath for this show. You've been like, clenching your assholes tight and just ready to go, right? Yeah, I saw all 6 episodes last week during the early screening. And believe me when I tell you, you're not going to be disappointed. This show is dripping with DEI goodness. There is so much inclusion and diversity in this show that it'll make everybody in San Francisco happy. Oh man, I don't even know where to begin, but I will tell you what, before I do even start on my review, I'm gonna let you guys know there are going to be spoilers, but here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna wait. I'm gonna put the spoilers towards the back, and I'm gonna put a big sign that says spoiler warning. So that is your opportunity to dip out if you don't want to spoil it for you. I'm putting it out there, okay? But I am going to get into it. But first, I'm just going to get into my overall thoughts on the show. Now, the show revolves around Riri Williams, right? The black, brilliant, misunderstood genius that replaces Tony Stark, at least in the comics. And it's basically a show about her being broke, being a genius though, and committing crimes, but then justifying her crimes because for the sake of, I don't know, for the sake of being iconic. Iconic's a big word, by the way. You're gonna hear that a lot in the show about her being iconic. You'll never hear her say heroic. You'll never hear her say heroic. Only iconic. Only iconic. Because who wants to be a hero, right? I'm going to get more into that in a minute. But here's the thing. I think a lot of people have been anticipating the show. They've been excited about this show, probably not for the right reasons. And some of y'all content creators know who I'm talking about. There's a lot of people excited for this show, but all for the wrong reasons, except for one person, apparently. So, and I'm sure this is completely genuine. There was a post today, a post from Dominique Thorne, the actress who plays Riri Williams. She got a call. She got a surprise call this morning from a big celebrity. And I want us to take a look at this genuine, very genuine call.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Guess why I'm calling? It's June 24th, which is
It's Dad's birthday. Happy birthday.
my dad's birthday. Thanks, very considerate. Also, God, you've been doing too much press. Ironheart premieres today. It's all been leading to this. Isn't that exciting?
Oh my God, thank you. Thank you for the call.
17 years from the birth of the MCU
Oh
to
my
the premiere
God.
of Ironheart, and we're in this love together.
Man.
So psyched.
Man.
I've grown so fond of you, it's bananas.
Thank you.
Congratulations. I'll be watching it with the world, and we'll keep each other posted, yeah?
Oh my God, okay. Yes, we will.
All right, let's go.
Yeah, like I said, completely genuine. I'm sure they didn't pay him extra at all for that. I'm sure that wasn't in his contract somewhere. I guarantee you this was all from the heart, the Ironheart. God, this is all so stupid, man. It's, there's times where I like being a part of the Hollywood scene and all that stuff. And then there's times where it's hard, man. It's cringe. That kind of stuff right there. This is why I guess I'm on the outside looking in. I can never fully get in because I couldn't stomach having to do this. I couldn't do it. Could not do it. Anyway, as you can see, apparently Robert Downey Jr. is excited about Ironheart. On his own volition, right? He wasn't paid extra, wasn't in his contract. He just wanted to do it. All right, let's just get into the review of this god-awful show. And yeah, so I guess I'm already playing, showing my hand by saying god awful, because it is. It's a terrible show. It's a show about a young, brilliant black girl who is misunderstood, who has a lot of trauma, childhood trauma in her life, right? No father. There's no father in the picture because, black. And everyone is wrong except for her. Right? Her only problem is that no one sees just how genius she really is. That's her only flaw. That's her only battle, is being too brilliant and having to live in a world where not so talented white men get ahead, right? Guys, as funny as much as I'm saying all this stuff, believe it or not, to its credit, they did keep the woke stuff to a minimum. I don't know how to measure that exactly, but it wasn't as woke as I thought it would be. And don't get me wrong, it's woke. It is woke, very much so, but not as much. Like, I thought they were going to go all in. Like, I wanted it to be like, BLM signs everywhere, and just a lot of colonizer talk. And I expected it to be a lot more woke than it was. It was fine, I guess it was all right. It wasn't as bad as I hoped it would be, I guess. And when I say hope, I don't mean I wanted the show to be bad, but my thing is this: I already knew it was going to be bad, so just go all in. Right now, the show follows her, and she, she's about to get kicked out of school because she did some experiment that cost the school a bunch of money. So she ends up somehow getting tangled up with this crew of bandits. Now, they call themselves like Robin Hood type bandits, right? Like, they rob from the rich and give to the hood, right? They're being part of the solution, right? Not one white person in a group. It's just, it's Latino and Afro Latinos and black queers, and just run the gambit. I think they had everything but an Asian. So she gets mixed up with this crew, and the leader of this crew is called the Hood. Now, he has another name in the show, but I just don't even care. Like, I don't even like. I think I wrote it down. Yeah, it's Parker Robbins, and I think he's a character in the comics. Parker Robbins, who plays the Hood. The Hood in the comics has like some very weird powers because of the hood that he wears, and the reason why this Hood has powers is because of who the Hood really belongs to, which isn't Parker Robbins. It's Mephisto. Mephisto created this Hood, so it gives Parker these powers. Okay. Anyway, she joins his crew because they talk her into it, saying that her genius needs to be financed. So why not work with them? And somehow she decided to do that. And the whole show, and don't worry, I'm not going to get into the whole story of it, but the whole show is about her dealing with the consequences of her actions, with this particular crew. And then there's a very, very special guest at the end of the season to tie it all together. Now, with that said, now I'm going to get into some spoilers. So this is your time to dip out, and there it is. See that in big red letters? Spoiler warning. This is your opportunity to bow out of the review. Okay? I'm going to count it down to 5. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. All right. Okay, let's really get into it. So she joins this crew, and like I said, very mixed group of people. You had one drag queen, one trans character who's a trans man, biological woman. You had a lesbian who was her partner. They called them the twins. I call them the lesbian twins, whatever. you had just everything in there, right? You had, your blacks, your Latinos, like I said, no Asians, but I guess you can't have everybody. You can't have every quota filled, right? And during this show, we don't see her do one single heroic thing. She doesn't save one person in this show. Doesn't save one person. Right? She wants to carry on the legacy of Iron Man. Iron Man saved people. Tony Stark saved people. Also, Tony Stark had a character arc. Right? He was a selfish playboy billionaire who didn't care about anything except partying, having a good time, spending his parents' money. And you see him become the savior of the galaxy. Sure, but you could say, oh, but that was over the span of how many movies? Okay, that's fine. Let's just take Iron Man 1. Tony Stark goes through his arc, becomes a genuine hero at the end of his own movie. This never happens in Ironheart. I'm a little sad for Ryan Coogler that his name is on this show. And I get it. He had to because he used that character in Wakanda Forever. By the way, guarantee you Disney made him do that. I guarantee you Disney made him do that. But his name is on it. And because of how good Sinners is doing it in the theater, they're going to keep slapping his name right across that title. I feel bad for the guy because I know he doesn't want to be tied to this, but he kind of has to be. Kind of in the same way Robert Downey Jr. has to be tied to this by making stupid ass videos like the one we just saw. Anyway, so the Hood is the leader of this gang, and the Hood has his own ulterior motives for what he's doing. Right, the rest of the crew thinks it's for robbing from the white rich and giving it to the brown people in the hood. That's what his crew thinks, but he has his own motives, right? And a lot of it has to do with the fact that there is a side effect to the cape or to the hood. It's a cloak. There's a side effect to the cloak that he's wearing. Again, it's Mephisto, right? So deal with the devil, that kind of thing. Anyway, I really wish there was a lot more to dive into, but that's the thing. There really isn't. This show could have been, oh, okay, fuck it. I said there were spoilers, so I'm going to go ahead and just spoil it. So she has a crisis of conscience, right? And by the way, during all of this crap of her robbing and doing all these things, right, for the greater good, she's so brilliant. She accidentally creates this super high-tech AI, kind of like a Jarvis, but even more high-tech, right? Because remember, she has to be smarter than Tony Stark. And the AI is the image of her dead friend, her dead best friend, who died a few years back by a drive-by, or because of a drive-by, because black, right? But whatever. I mean, she's iconic, right? And iconic people do iconic shit, which you'll learn in the show because they use that word iconic all the time. But she creates this super sophisticated AI, and the AI plays a part in, I guess her character journey. But not really, because she doesn't really learn lessons. Because there's not a lesson to be learned in the show. I mean, what's the lesson? Right? That I could rob and steal and do all this stuff, and there's no consequence. Hey, and Disney, there are never consequences for these women, right? I mean, we saw it with Wanda and WandaVision. Takes over a whole ass town. Mind rapes these people. Right? And what What is she told at the end of the show? She's told these people will never know what you did for them because she let them go. Because she finally did the right thing and let the people go. Now they're supposed to be grateful to her. Can you imagine if a woman was really, what's the word, graped? And her having to listen to her attacker spout about how, oh, yeah, he did this to her, but he let her go. He let her go. He didn't kill her. He let her go. What the hell are we doing? But again, with the women in the MCU, there's never a consequence to the things they do, right? Never. So there's no lesson for Dominique to learn. I'm sorry, Riri. Dominique is the actress, Dominique Thorne, who, by the way, Dominique Thorne is not a bad actress. The guy who plays the Hood, I think his name is Manny Ramirez, I think, or Anthony Ramos. Anthony Ramos. He's pretty good in it. The guy who plays his cousin or henchman, Manny Montana, another good actor. There are a lot of actually decent actors in this show, and it's kind of sad. It's kind of sad to, see them have to do this, honestly. But I guess a gig is a gig, right? And then there's Sacha Baron Cohen. Easily the best thing about this whole show was Sacha Baron Cohen as Mephisto, who, yes, does show up. And when they introduce him, it was actually good. It was actually good. He killed that. So much so, we all looked at each other like, why did they put him in this show? Like, Mephisto is a major character in comics, in Marvel Comics. A major character we've been waiting to make his MCU debut back when the MCU was good, of course. Why now? And why for this show? It would have made more sense to bring Mephisto into Doctor Strange rather than waste him on an Ironheart. Because best believe there's not going to be a season 2 of this. There's not. And guys, you have to understand something. I have a few sources at the MCU. In fact, one of them called me the next day or texted me the next day. And he's like, so did you survive? And I was like, dude, I didn't even believe how bad this was going to be. And he's like, I told you. I warned you. Marvel Studios knows this is bad. Which is probably why they're dumping them three at a time. There's only 6 episodes, so you got this week and next week, and they're done with it. Now, the crazy thing is, this is their lead-in to Fantastic Four. They're not doing good, man. Brave New World, Thunderbolts, this, not to mention Snow White, right? But we're just talking about the MCU right now. But Disney, not doing great. Elio, the Pixar movie that just came out, opening week, 3rd place. Even Pixar can't help them. Disney, I mean. But no, guys, this is a terrible show. And honestly, I don't even really know why it's 6 episodes. This could have been a 2-hour made-for-TV movie. Easily a 2-hour made-for-TV movie without even a blink. And they would have probably saved money, wouldn't have lost as much. But the problem is they started making this during the height of Disney's woke era. They couldn't pull it back. In fact, I think it's only less woke now because they probably went and cut a bunch of things out of it. because the culture changed, right? They've lost too much money. I guarantee you, this was probably 1,000 times more woke than what we got. And someone had at least the self-awareness to say, maybe we should tone this down. Maybe. I'm just saying. I'm just putting it out there. Maybe we should tone it down. I can imagine if they dropped this week to week. This is not a week to week show. People would have fell off first episode easily. They were smart. Technically, they should have dumped it all at once. They should have did what they did with Echo, but they didn't. They decided that they wanted to, stretch it out a little bit. Content creators are going to eat on this for probably the next 2 months. I say, yeah, at least 2 months. There's going to be enough material here for, look, man, I know there's this weird thing out there in the YouTube verse where it's the rage streamers, right? People who you think just hate everything and can't wait to destroy a property. Sure, some of that exists. Problem is, though, you have the other side. You have the shields who, no matter how bad something is, they'll go out of their way to say it's good. I am just giving you my honest opinion. I'm sure a lot of people are going to have opinions about this. There are going to be some people who say they love this. I don't know how or why, but they're going to say they love this. They're going to say it's for the culture. They're going to say all these stupid things. This is bad. Disney, I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen with the MCU. I'm not feeling great about Fantastic Four. I don't think Doomsday or Secret Wars is going to be as big as people think. I think the MCU is finished. Anyway, guys, that's it. That's my review. Again, there wasn't a lot because there's not a lot to go on here, right? There's a few heartfelt moments between her and her best friend, the AI, but even that is pretty thin. It's pretty thin, and there's just a lot of goofy humor that they try to throw in there or shovel in there. Like I said, there are a couple of actors who do a decent job because they're decent actors. Anthony Ramos is a decent actor, so I expected him to, at least commit, and he did. I'll give him that credit. Dominique Thorne is a better actress than what we get in Ironheart, and it's unfortunate that she has to pay the price, like so many other people, man. I think about the actress who plays Kamala Khan in Captain, not Captain Marvel, and Miss Marvel. I think about a lot of actors and actresses that are actually really cool people and decent actors outside of what they've been given. But guys, take this as look, grain of salt, right? Take it with a grain of salt. This is just my opinion. Would I recommend you watching this show? Maybe for comedy's sake, right? Like I would say get a group together, get some drinks like we did, like me and my friends did. Get some drinks, get some pizza, get some weed, whatever, and just have a good time. Watch it, spoof on it, ridicule it because it deserves ridicule, laugh at it because it's funny in ways that it shouldn't be funny, but it is. It's funny in a very unironic way. But best believe when I tell you it's bad. It's cringy bad. All right, man. Anyway, guys, thank you so much, man, for watching the review. I wish I had better news for you. Like I wish I could tell you guys that I wish I could tell you guys that it was good, but it really wasn't. So And we all kind of knew that it wasn't going to be. So there you go. All right, y'all. Please follow, subscribe, definitely like the video, retweet it, all that good stuff. It always helps me out. I am just getting done with this bug I have, this flu or whatever I've been dealing with for the past like 5 days. I feel myself getting better, so that's good news for me. Again, my energy is always kind of weird when I'm sick, so hopefully I was able to at least entertain while I did this crazy review. But I'll talk to you guys soon.